What's up, everybody? It's a fancy end game. We are back. I'm back. My worldwide tour is over temporarily. So we're here to mock. You know what we do every week. Chris has been holding it down. His back is a little sore from carrying the channel for the past week and a half. So, man, Chris is you've been live too, not just the mocks, but going live talking about free agency, trades, everything. Um, I mean, you still have your voice, you're intact, you're good to go.
Barely. It was getting rough last night. I was like, oh, let me drink some water. You forget to drink water, but yeah, it's okay so far.
So far, so good.
So
But
far,
look,
so good.
we're here all year long. This is a busy time for
Yeah.
football because all the movement. You need to know what it means now. That's why we mock draft, and you just see if you're with us, of course, every week, you see how much things change from week to week. You think, oh, what's going to change? Everything has changed, right? These
Yeah.
mocks are going to be very different. If you want to join us, well, get ready. The link is about to drop. Of course, you can mock draft live with us multiple times per week. Now, before we do that and you get a chance to join us and actually draft here live, let me mention that the best way to be able to join us, not just for these mocks, but for everything that we put out all off season long, in addition to our YouTube videos, you see it down below. You can see the link in the description. flockfantasy.com/endgame. That takes you directly to sign up. Now, first of all, let me tell you, because when I say sign up, you might start worrying, okay, what am I getting myself into? You're getting access to all sorts of content, but there is a free trial that you can sign up. No need to worry, no obligation there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. You get a 2-day free trial for everything that's on there and access then to the new Discord, which is much like the old Discord, just in a slightly different location and still very active there. That's totally free. So if you want to join us on Discord, chat with us in our amazing community, that's the way to do it. Also, as you can see there, you get some articles, written articles, rankings. We're going to be updating the Dynasty and Best Ball rankings, especially right after the draft, and you get those up to date, and some bonus videos, and of course, the link to these live streams and live mocks. So all of that on flockfantasy.com/endgame. All right. I think I need some water.
Ready? All right. Here comes the link.
All right.
As you can see, Nate, who is already a member on flockfantasy.com/endgame, no stress. He just got to pick the number 2 spot, nice and easy. So if you don't want to fight with, we have 40 people online already. We only have 9 spots left. So if you don't want to fight for these spots, just go to flockfantasy.com/endgame. Make it nice and easy for you. But here comes the link. Good luck, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Oh man, this is like, it gives me. I don't even have to get in, but I get anxiety. Like, who's gonna get in? Like, who is actually gonna get in?
Rooting for our guy. We got a new. Looks like Chris Woods has not drafted with us. I'm hoping he gets in. Royland's been waiting. Stinger, our boy Stinger's always there, and Chris's least favorite, a green vegetable, raw broccoli.
Who is raw broccoli? Show yourself. Show yourself in the chat. Who's raw broccoli?
I have a really strong suspicion I know who it might be. But anyways, all right, Chris is in. Awesome. And I took the liberty, since I missed out on last week's mocks, of getting the spot right in front of you just so I could try to get in front of you. No. Roberto passing. He says going to let the newbies join. He's just here to join us and make some commentary, I hope. Wow. Okay. I know it's tough, guys. Let me say it again. We want y'all to be able to draft with us. There's only 12 teams, only 12 spots. But we do this every week. Again, multiple times per week. So if you didn't get in tonight, there's always tomorrow. But again, flockfantasy.com/endgame. You see all the stuff we're talking about. But again, you have potential to get that access. But let's get going.
All right, real quick before we start here.
Always took the 11th
Rise
spot.
above, nice job. We're doing back to our standard 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, full PPR. So keep that in mind. You're going to see, if you're new here, by the way, welcome. Awesome to have you. But because it's 3 wide receiver, full PPR, and a flex, you'll probably see wide receivers go off a little bit earlier than you may be used to. But looks like Valixen is on the clock at number 1, and here we go.
All right. And by the way, this is I know you don't want me to talk baseball. WBC is going to be on. I was watching it last night while I did, not kidding, not even exaggerating, a 3.5 hour draft for fantasy baseball because it's a keeper dynasty.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. It was 3.5 hours of pure joy and bliss. And I had the game, the Mexico-Japan game on in the background. I'm putting all my attention on football right now, and then as soon as it's over, I'm put the baseball game on.
I guess baseball's just slow no matter what. Baseball games are slow. Baseball drafts are slow. It's just slow all around. Just slow.
Definitely slower. But look, I will say this is a dynasty league with like 40 roster spots, and it's an auction too. That's why it took so long. It's auction. If you ever do an auction drafts aren't as popular in football, but it's really the best way to draft.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce at 3. That might be the earliest we've seen him. SS903. New here, I think. You never know. You never know with the names. Kelce at 3, pretty early for him.
Yeah, I had to do a double take to see who was left, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I can't argue with Kelce in the first round. 3, maybe a little early, but I don't hate it.
Now, Royally, it's good to see you back.
Thank you. It's definitely good to be back. Okay, so this is a good question, which we answer in one of our videos. I can't keep them all straight. Is that video up already?
That video's out. You can check it out. Our trade video we just published on Sunday. It's our most recent video. I predicted Bills. You predicted. You had a spicy prediction, actually. I think you had a pretty spicy prediction. Do you remember it?
I'm trying to see if I do remember. Eckler. Oh yeah, I do remember where I had him. Do we give it away? I think it was a team
the video's out. We can spoil it now. The video's out.
A team nobody really is talking about or expecting. I'm going with Jacksonville. Jacksonville swooping in to take Eckler. We'll see.
That is spicy. That is spicy. All right, so AJ Brown. Wow, AJ Brown ahead of guys like Diggs, Lamb. That's interesting. And
yeah, let's AJ Brown. Yeah, but also didn't even realize this. Bijan now officially a first round pick and the RB3 overall. I mean, I could see RB3 for him.
Yeah. I think it's got to be only our drafts that he's a first round pick. Like I can't imagine. It's just because we've talked him up so much, right? We've talked him up so much. Yeah. Wow. Amon-Ra at the turn. Someone's high on Amon-Ra.
Someone's got to be falling because all these guys, everyone seems to be being drafted higher than usual. Somebody's got to be falling, and I don't know who it is yet. I guess JT.
Well, get ready because I'm probably going to snipe you on them. Whoever it is.
See, that's what I would say. It's like you're drafting in front of somebody. You're like, oh, I get to snipe you. But then they just snipe you in the other way. It's the same thing. It's just both sides.
Yeah, you just snipe each other. So Roberto wants to know. Wait, Roberto. We're both clicking. We're both clicking. So Roberto wants to know if the Jags are going to get Eckler, what are they going to do with Etienne?
Trade him to the Chargers.
That's what he said. He said they will trade. Chargers will take Etienne and the Jags will take Eckler. That was his spicy prediction.
Because if you think about it, for the Chargers, they get what they maybe could convince themselves, like talk themselves into, is like we have a younger, cheaper version of Eckler, right? He's just as fast and he can catch the ball and he won't cost us, a mega contract. I I mean, if they're looking to trade Eckler, they're going to obviously be downgrading at running back anyways. And this gives them kind of a seamless transition because then they won't have to go out and draft a rookie, right? And they won't have to go on the cheap with what free agents are left that could fill Eckler's shoes. So to me, it seems like a reasonable solution for them.
I'm probably not going to snipe you here. I really don't like this spot, to be honest.
Yeah, the middle is always the worst. Like, I don't know, man. Etienne, I don't know how much Etienne's stock would go up if he went to the Chargers.
Man,
You think, well, it's a better team, but he's not going to be. I don't think that's my thing with Etienne. I don't think he's ever going to be a 3-down back, a goal line back. I think he's going to be limited in how he's used no matter where he goes. Kind of like DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. Can't lie, that was a tough pick.
All right. Well, I mean, looking at the receivers left, it's like, are we in the dead zone already?
I don't know if we're quite in the dead zone, but I felt like it was like there's guys I like there. I just felt like it was a little too early for them. I don't know. I was between like 4 guys here. I was between 4 guys, I'll be honest.
And like Garrett Wilson isn't anywhere even close to being available in the middle of the second round these days.
No, not in our drafts. And I will say Kenneth Walker was one of the guys I was thinking about as well over Henry.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were between.
Yeah, I was between those two. And look, if Henry gets traded somewhere not as good, which pretty much anywhere he gets traded to won't be as good because he's not going to get 25 plus carries every week.
The squad.
The anti-dynasty team. The anti-dynasty team right here.
It's called win now. Win now.
Yeah, this is called redraft only. Would never do this in dynasty. They would never draft this team in dynasty startup.
It's win now or else.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. In season long, you're just playing to win this year. If you crash and burn, you crash and burn. Those were the other 2 guys. Devonta and Olave were the other 2 guys. Those were the 4 guys. Those were the 4 I was. And Jacobs. I kind of sort of Jacobs as well. So
yeah, and I had both those receivers queued up. And I mean, granted, picking from the number 1 spot is an advantage, but having Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and Olave, that's a damn good start.
That's a very good start. And this is the other problem when you're stuck in the middle is so there's 5 guys you like, and chances are none of them are going to make it back to you. So you got to pick one and then hope you're right. Hope you're right. You know, like if this is a real draft, you pick Derrick Henry there, and then you just cross your fingers that Derrick Henry stays good and stays healthy all year because the guys you like aren't making it back to you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna really regret that Henry pick if you don't pick a guy here, and I really don't think you're gonna pick him. And then I'm going to really regret that Henry pick.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing.
Yeah. Man. Man, the middle is just tough decision. I mean, Kupp was a no-brainer, but now it's just tough decision after tough decision. But I got to go. I gotta go Pollard here. Pollard here.
All right. I did not see that coming. I did not.
Well, look, and they just signed Ronald Jones. That's like people are happy that the Texans signed Devin Singletary because that means good things for Dameon Pierce. Ronald Jones is basically just a warm body. He's gonna have he couldn't even carve out a role on the Chiefs. Like Tony Pollard, unless the Cowboys draft a running back with high draft capital, Tony Pollard is going to be the guy there, and he's awesome, and he catches passes. Like, I have Tony Pollard in my top 10 running backs now. Maybe even, like, if they don't draft anybody significant, I might even have him over guys like Walker and Henry, honestly.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't even consider the Ronald Jones signing like an actual signing. Like I just kind of ignore that. I still think Cowboys do draft a running back. Now, how high is the question? I mean, if they wait till round 4 or 5, then it doesn't matter.
Your dog wants to talk. Yeah. Signing Ronald Jones it's like the Bucks signing Chase Edmonds, right? It's like it's a total non-factor. It's like a total non-factor. Like it doesn't even. The only way Tony Pollard could lose value now is if they draft a good running back with high draft capital. That's the only path to him losing value now. If not, Tony, he's so explosive. He has huge, home run ability, can catch passes. And if he's going to be the guy, and that we saw it down the stretch when he kind of mostly took over that backfield, he was incredible. So right now, I got on that high. I got to do it right now. Got to do it right now. Maybe that'll change after the draft.
I will say, if they don't draft a running back in the first couple of rounds, then top 10 running back, I'm fine with that for Pollard. So I guess more than anything, I'm just surprised you took another running back.
Well, that's why I said I would regret that Henry pick, because like if I had gone Kupp and then let's say Devonta Smith or Chris Olave and then Tony Pollard, I'd like that team a lot better, especially in a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league like this. Now my wide receivers, I'm going to have to really fight to get decent wide receivers now.
Yep, that's the problem. And still stuck in the middle.
Yeah. So Rob Dale, what's up, Rob? Good to see you. My breakouts, top 1 to 3 QB will be so Lawrence, Pollard. I'm with you on that. And Cooper I think he's saying Lawrence will be a top 3 QB.
Yeah, Lawrence will be a top 3. Pollard will be a top 5, and Cooper a top 10. So those are some bold predictions there.
Those are some bold predictions, but I don't think they're too far off. I mean, look, if Pollard gets all the work in Dallas, he can definitely be top 5. If Deshaun Watson plays like the old Deshaun Watson, Cooper could be top 10. I mean, it's obviously their hot takes. They're not like, Lawrence top 3, maybe. He would need like a monster yardage and touchdown season.
I mean, a lot of people, and those are 3 guys I know you've been big on this preseason and been talking them up. Lawrence, top 3. I mean, I think that's a little much just because he isn't getting you that rushing yardage. He's not going to pass Jalen Hurts. He's not going to pass Pat Mahomes, and then I doubt he'll pass Josh Allen. So I think top 5, that's still bold, but reasonable. Pollard, again, I can say top 10. To me, that's, doable. Top 5, I don't know. I don't know. Cooper, maybe the most achievable. I mean,
yeah.
Sean Watson there. They definitely want to sling it a little bit more.
And then, Gazdom 3 Rider. All right, you're gonna have to tell us the backstory on that name. So, what do you think is the best trade or signing so far?
Oh man, what teams are making better moves than others? I mean, the moves aren't done, but most of the big ones are. The single best trade or signing so far. I'm not going to count players that have been extended or kept, right? I'm talking about
the best trade has to be Bears, right?
Yeah, the best trade. I mean, are you looking at it for like long term or just fantasy or like impact right now? Because the Bears, they got the most back for sure. Like in terms of fantasy landscape, they got DJ Moore. I don't know that moves DJ Moore's value up too much. So as far as overall value, the Bears. It's got to be the Bears trade.
Ah, this spot. Another brutal spot here.
Just shock us all and go running back again.
He's been taken again. No. Man. But I mean, I gotta struggle upstream for wide receivers.
It's a lot of receivers with question marks here.
Yes. I think that Bears trade has got to be the best trade so far. I think if you're just talking about teams that have made the best moves so far, I think the Bears have done great. I think the Lions have done great. I think the Eagles have low key done really well, considering what they were working with. Like they kept that whole offensive line. They brought back most of their key defense. I think the Eagles have done well.
Yeah, and the great thing with the Eagles, especially if you're an Eagles fan at least, is those draft picks, that draft capital they have for a team just coming off a Super Bowl appearance, doing pretty well for themselves. They're just going to reload. So I will say, it's funny to talk about the Carolina Panthers. I actually am probably going to wind up at some point being kind of a low-key Carolina Panthers fan, because my daughter, so one of the places I was Charlotte. So my daughter's going to college in Charlotte, Belton in Wales. That's my representative my new hat here. So she's going to be in Charlotte. The campus is downtown. It's 5-minute walk from the Panthers Stadium. It's right there. And so we're going to be there a lot. I'm probably going to go to some games. Charlotte, we're going to spend a lot of time there. So I'm probably going to actually somehow wind up being a Panthers fan. Not more than a Dolphins fan. But,
I can't wait for you to wear your CJ Stroud jersey.
CJ Stroud, yeah, if that's who they go with. Get my Shy Smith, my LaVisca Chenault gear.
Shy Smith. LaVisca Chenault. Oh, jeez.
Yep. Yeah, I think I appreciate at least that they're committing. I mean, I know this team's going to be terrible this year, but that they know that, right? They sold out for the number 1 pick. They think they got their guy at quarterback. If it pans out, it actually might work good for them in the long term. I think they gave up too much, but at least they have a plan, is what I'm saying. Like, some teams just have no plan whatsoever, and they just blow their draft picks, and they just do all these ridiculous things. And teams
like the Commanders.
Like the Commanders is one, the Colts, the team that just left. Like, they just keep shuffling old quarterbacks, you know what I mean, and just stay stagnant. So at least they have a plan.
Then Nate wants to know Kirk over London. Yeah, I think I don't know why. I just can't talk myself into. I mean, I do like London. I just feel like the upside for London just isn't there on a week-to-week basis, unless they do something at quarterback. Unless they if it's Desmond Ridder again, or who else did they sign? Andy Dalton.
Dalton? I wouldn't look into that, but look. Yeah. But the last few weeks with Desmond Ridder instead of Marcus Mariota, London did kind of come alive, and that's why I'm encouraged, because I've never been a Mariota believer, and he was just a placeholder. Now, I don't think he was a placeholder for Ridder specifically, because I don't think Ridder's the long-term answer. But we saw, the last five games of the season, he averaged 85 yards per game, 6 catches per game. That's not bad for your number 2 or 3 receiver.
Yeah, I just think that Jags offense is going to be so good this year. I just want a piece of it. If I can get a piece of it, I want to get a piece of it. I'd rather bet on the wide receiver in what I think is going to be a great offense than the wide receiver that's going to be in probably a very bad offense again.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is if Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback, that means all those receivers are feasting. So,
yeah, I mean, it's close. It's not like I have Kirk way ahead of him. We're certainly in the wide receiver dead zone right now, for sure.
Yeah, guys whose name value is much better in the past than the future. Hollywood Brown was next on my queue. And see, now especially, I keep thinking to myself, instead of taking Hurts or Allen or somebody like in round 3, like, why am I not just taking Justin Fields a round or 2 later? You know?
Mm-hmm. See, and that's the problem. Had I gone, let's say, Devonta Smith or Chris Olave, then Pollard, and then Kirk, I probably would have felt comfortable going Justin Fields there, where I took Marquise Brown. But because we have to start 3 wide receivers and a flex, if I take a quarterback now, my wide receiver and flex is not going to be looking good. It's not going to be looking good.
Exactly. So. And I feel comfortable waiting still on running back. There's still some starting running backs out there that are pretty good in this particular draft. And I think as a result, because we've talked about this and we see, and I think this is pretty close to what will really happen. In a lot of leagues, quarterbacks go earlier. A lot of quarterbacks being taken. No tight ends taken except for Kelsey, which not surprising because we've said over and over again, we're taking Kelsey or nobody. But I think there's enough running back depth left that you might as well wait at this point. So I think stocking, those 3 receivers, maybe a 4th receiver before you go for your RB2, I think that's still the way to go.
I definitely agree. Had I known I was going to get Pollard in the 3rd, I would have just taken one of those wide receivers. But
hindsight is always 20/20. And see, then it was meant to be here. Chris, first time on the stream. Campus 10 blocks away. You're a Charlotte native? Okay, well then yes, definitely. I'll be back there in August for sure, maybe even before then. So you know what? If you're not in the Discord already, get in the Discord, send me a DM. We'll find out. Yeah, what's up with that? Nate brings up a good point. Do you remember the year? Was it last year? I think it was last year. Where you maxed out every best ball draft on drafters and then underdog?
It was 2 years ago. Yes. I don't have time. I just don't have time anymore. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The difference is I was doing nothing but slow drafts. The problem with underdog, which is what I would like to do, I would like to max out the puppy or something, but they fill in like 2 weeks.
Too slow.
I can't do 150 drafts in 2 weeks. I wish I could sit here and say all I do is fantasy football all day, 24/7. That's my job. That's my life. But we're not there yet. I have a wife. I have dogs. I have other commitment, responsibilities. Not there yet. I'm not there where I'm just sitting around able to draft all day and night. I can't do it. If there's a way for me to do, but the other problem with doing 150 puppy slow drafts, which first of all, again, it fills in 2 weeks. So you're going to have 150 drafts all going on at once. But also the slow drafts are less of an edge than the fast drafts, because the fast drafts, people actually have to think on the fly, who do I pick here? Slow drafts, people can look, think about it, figure it out. It lessens your edge as well. So the last 2 years, and look, I'm busy because of the channel. So it's a good thing I'm busy, right? Because of the channel, because we're growing the channel. One day, when we have a team of people helping us grow the channel and we don't have to do it all, I'll get back to doing a ton of best ball drafts.
There you go. That's a good answer. And my short version to that is the same. That's the dream. We're getting there, hopefully. We're getting there, where that's all we do all day is just fantasy football and baseball too. But that's the one thing. I love underdog. Obviously, use it all the time. But that's the only thing is that I think for the drafts, it's either 30 seconds per pick or 8 hours.
Yeah.
There's no in between, right? There's no 4 hour, 2 hours. A lot of other platforms, they do have that. It would be nice to have an in between where you could do 2 hours where it's slow, but not like you pick once every other day slow.
I mean,
right. You are back up. Yeah, I talked about this. I don't think you're going to see any more tight ends go right now. I'm almost positive Chris isn't taking a tight end here. Neither am I.
Actually, I am debating, but I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get that flex. I'm gonna get that flex spot locked up.
Yeah, and looking ahead, I see 3 of the 4 teams ahead of me already have 2 running backs. I'm still going to wait. And the fact that I don't love any of the receivers left makes me think I need to take one, because if I don't, I'm really not going to love what's coming back to me. And I'm going to still have some faith in my guy, Traylon Burks.
One second. Oh, man. All right. The heater just cranked on. I got these lights on me. I'm like, oh, it's too hot. Too hot.
Too hot. This is a good time to bring up the fact that we are going to do some collabs, right? We got some planned.
Yeah, I mean, we are collabing with Block Fantasy, Fantasy Stock Exchange, and Dynastyland Football. We haven't done any collaboration videos yet. But the site, if you check it out, flockfantasy.com/endgame, you get articles from all, not just from Pierre and I, but you get it from Mason from Flock, the guys from Stock Exchange, the guys from Dynastyland, bonus videos. You get all of our rankings. I'm sure we will do some collabs. You'll get access to special live streams from all of us. And I'll also say that I'll say one thing about the site. We got some really good things planned. There's some cool stuff planned. So even if you look at it right now and you're like, oh yeah, it's okay or whatever, we got a lot of cool stuff coming. So, and I'm sure we will start doing some videos together as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's true, because we just launched this thing not that long ago. It's updating and improving every single day. There's more. It's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating. Every day there's an update. There's something that makes it smoother, more content, and it's only March. So just wait till we get to draft season. Again, you can see our rankings, not just redraft rankings, which we're not close to putting up to yet, but Dynasty, Best Ball, articles, written articles, and those collaborations from the guys you mentioned. So all sorts of stuff on there.
Oh yeah, we are gonna be, well, I wouldn't call it a collaboration, but we are gonna have Matt Harmon from Reception Perception on Yahoo, on twice this year, once before the draft and once closer to the season. So I'm excited for that one. Definitely check that out.
Very exciting. And if you're in the Discord already, post some of his reception perception, profiles for receivers, the ones that he makes publicly available. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. Do I wait again on running back? Maybe I do. And I was so close to getting Charbonnet.
Yeah, Royland saying SS 903 drafting a dynasty team. Yep. And Royland saying Velasquez is crushing it. He is crushing it. I mean, to get those 4 wide receivers, then get Dobbins and Pierce, and then to get Kittle, he's definitely crushing it.
Yeah, that's how you draft out of the number 1 spot. Didn't reach on anybody. I really like that pair, the Smith and Olave, because both of us had both those guys queued up and waited, and he took them both.
Yeah. Once again, I hate this spot.
Yes, I took my Carolina Panther, so there you go. I got a Dolphin with my first pick. Now I got a Panther. I'm set.
On cue. Yeah, I do. I think he's worth it here. My RB3. Maybe he's back in Cincinnati. I think even if they release him, he'll end up somewhere. So,
I mean, we haven't heard anything on that front lately. It's
weird.
I mean, maybe he does just stay in Cincinnati, and in that case, I think he's a Steeler.
Yeah, it's weird. We haven't even heard anything like a restructure or anything. It's like they're just gonna.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things change. You never know before the draft, but I kind of think even though it makes sense logistically because he's a guy, he's a running back who's now got a few years under his belt, making more money than he should. His efficiency's gone down. But this is a team with a championship window. Like, do you really just mess with it that much? You know what I mean? Like, you have a guy who knows the system. You have a guy who, even though he wasn't efficient in terms of rushing average, it's not like he was just flat out terrible. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they don't have a better option. They just stick with him.
Yeah, it could be because it seems like we'd have heard something by now.
All right, what about this take? Are we?
I don't understand this. Like, it seems like there's definitely. I mean, I get it. Like, look, okay, Swift isn't going to be what we want Swift to be. Montgomery. Okay, but I mean, there's still value in these guys. Like, there's still value in them. It's like I'll tell you, the backfield I'm staying away from is the Saints. Staying away from that backfield. Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara for how many games he plays, Taysom Hill vulturing touchdowns. I'm just staying. That's the one I'm staying away from. I'm staying away from the Saints.
Yeah, what you want to do is look for running backs on teams with really good offensive lines and generally good offenses, of course. Sometimes the opportunity kind of trumps pure talent from a running standpoint in terms of running backs. So, yeah, there's a reason Jamal Williams scored so many touchdowns last year because Detroit can block and they keep getting the ball inside the 10-yard line. They don't want to throw the ball at the goal line if they can help it, if they can run it instead. So I like Montgomery this year. Swift is what Swift was, right? There's obviously not going to be that breakout season where he just suddenly becomes this RB1 because they're not going to use him that way. But he's still draftable. He's still usable. He'll still have those spike weeks.
Yeah. And now he's going in the 7th round. And Monty's going in the 6th. Like, so.
Right.
If they were going early, I would be like, no, I'm not drafting him.
And that's the thing is Swift was being taken early because people were anticipating that he would be an RB1 or could be an RB1.
Yeah.
So if you're taking him at cost here, yeah, I think it's fine. I like him better in best ball, than relying on him in a weekly lineup. It's not undraftable.
Yeah. And then Trevor saying the Saints backfield might end up being Jamal's if Kamara winds up in prison. Okay, yeah, that would change it. I would if Kamara winds up in prison and misses the whole year, then I'd be in on Jamal Williams. But chances are it's going to be like 4 to 6 games, and sure. Maybe Jamal will be really good for those 4 to 6 games, but then Kamara comes back. And when you need Jamal the most down the stretch and in the fantasy playoffs, That backfield seems like it'll be a nightmare. Unless Kamara misses the whole season.
Right. If that happens. But yeah. I mean, Kamara I'll say I'm staying away from.
Yeah, I'm definitely not drafting Kamara. But I'm not drafting. I mean, even Jamal now, maybe late. Maybe Jamal late.
I mean, Jamal Williams is a low-end RB2, probably at best.
Yeah, I mean, even last year, 17 touchdowns. He barely cracked the top 12, and that's because running back is just a wasteland. It's not because Jamal was so good week in and week out.
Well, like tell you what, Jamal Williams. I'm looking. We were talking about him. He's still out there. Guy that just got taken by your favorite side dish, raw broccoli. Brian Robinson. I'd say it's comparable. They're probably going to be similar type of guys.
I think I'd take Brian Robinson over Jamal. Definitely now. If he was still in Detroit, I'd say more comparable. But I feel better that Brian Robinson will get, close to 20 carries a game. So,
yeah. If Kamara winds up out, then yeah.
Well, yeah, that's different. But I'm not banking. I'm assuming Kamara's. We're looking at like 4 to 6 games probably.
Yeah, I'm not gonna operate in the assumption he's out forever, like indefinitely. Well, the Saints receivers, you can tell, we're pretty high on Olave. He's now become a pretty much second round pick. Technically third round pick here, 3.1. But yeah, I think that's fair.
I agree. I like Olave.
Michael Thomas.
Look, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for this.
Not me.
I remember last year after week 3, everybody victory lapped in their Michael Thomas picks. How'd that work out for you?
What? I will say it again, and I will hold firm just like I did last year. Not even in the last round with the last pick would I take him. Give me Rashid Shaheed instead. Oh, thank you. We have to put this one up.
All due respect to Pierre, I think he does have a good squad going, but I think Velasquez is crushing us.
Yeah, I do like. I like my Kenneth Walker, but I would rather have Pierce or Dobbins instead of Miles Sanders. And his 4 receivers are definitely better than my 4 receivers for sure. Now the quarterback, that's the thing. I got Jalen Hurts, like the QB1. He doesn't have a quarterback yet, so we'll see where he goes in that direction.
That's true.
But I still wish I had those 4 receivers.
Yeah, he's got 4. He's got 4. He's got 3 really good wide receivers and a 4th we'll see guy.
Nope. There you go.
And he's got Dobbins, Pierce, Kittle in the 7th round.
Got Watson. There you go. That's a smart pick.
I was hoping I could wait a little bit and get Watson. Not to be.
All right, more questions. White and Pacheco outlook. Has Pacheco gone off the board? Not yet.
Yeah, Pacheco was taken in the 9th, early 9th.
Yeah, this past round. Okay. That's fair.
These guys are so tough. I feel better about White now that they signed Chase Edmonds because I just don't feel like Chase Edmonds is a threat at all. But
come on, dude.
Of course, we have to see. Velasquez, how to ruin the best team. How to ruin the best team? Go on auto and take Alvin Kamara. But of course, the draft. If the Bucks draft a running back or something, that could certainly. I mean, both these guys, they're both in that position right now. They're kind of hanging on, but the draft could change everything for them.
That's true. There's still a lot that can and will change. Yeah, there you go. Right on cue. Better than Watson. You called it. Oh, and just like that, I'm up. Sterling Shepard. We have a Sterling Shepard sighting.
Wow, what happened to he had this super young team and then he takes Sterling Shepard.
I guess like the balance, you have to offset it. I don't know.
Well, he has Kelsey, so I guess he has 2 old guys, but AJ Dillon, interesting. I
like my Dillon pick. I think they'll lean more on him as a grinder since they don't have Aaron Rodgers back there.
I was going to take this guy last round, so I'll take him this round.
And Royland telling us without saying, tell us you're a Chiefs fan without telling us.
He won't. Pacheco won't be splitting touches with those guys. He'll be backing those guys up.
Yeah, I have a feeling he'll be holding the water bottles if Henry Eckler on this team.
If they get either of those guys, Pacheco's done. Pacheco's role is gone.
Yeah, that would be a handcuff. That's what you would call him. That would be a handcuff. Insurance policy. No, Pacheco as is, assuming they just roll with whatever, kind of like they have been doing. I mean, Hilaire is still under contract and he's coming back, I assume.
I guess.
So he's fine. I don't feel like you can start him every single week unless you really truly went 0 RB and he's your RB2 in that case. But he's not a guy you really can feel great rolling out every week. But
yeah. And then Benjamin keeps asking, so let's get to Benjamin. What are our thoughts on Calvin Ridley? And I think we might differ a little bit on this, but let's hear your thoughts.
I think he's going to be a little overdrafted because, again, I know the Jags started to get more pass heavy, but still, I don't know that he's going to see the same target share as the Matt Ryan Falcons, where all he did was pass. And he was the number one guy. Like, they have Kirk, who's pretty good last year. They have a good tight end, even, and Evan English can catch. Zay Jones, remember when he was actually Trevor Lawrence's favorite target? They're going to spread the ball around enough that I feel like he's going to be a little overdrafted. I'm not taking him in the 3rd round, probably even the 4th. I don't know. It feels a little early to me. Like, I'd rather have Keenan Allen or DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe top 25 receivers, fair. But I'm not going super early on him.
Yeah, when I look at the board there, so he went ahead of DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk. I'd probably take him over all those guys. I mean, maybe Pittman might jump ahead of him if they somehow swing a deal for Lamar. Like if they do make him an offer and the Ravens say, fine, give us your number 4 pick. We'll take Anthony Richardson and give us your 1st round next year. We'll just start over with Anthony Richardson or something, which I don't know. But like DJ, I do like DJ Moore, but I just want a piece of that. I just want a piece of that Jaguars offense. I think they're going to be so good this year. So I think where he is right there is pretty fair.
And that's probably where he'll go. To me, the real interesting question is who you got first. Is it Kirk or Ridley? Everyone just Ridley will be the one, but remember, Kirk is more. It's been a really tough year of rust, so everyone's assuming Ridley will be the one. Do you think it's going to be pretty evenly split between those two guys, or what?
I think Ridley will be the one, but I could see I think Kirk will be a lot like he was last year. He'll be more volatile. He'll have those big spike weeks, and then he'll have those weeks where everybody's like, "Why aren't they throwing it to Christian Kirk?" Because it's just kind of the thing when you're the slot receiver. That's just kind of how it works, right? You can't, you might only catch 4 passes for 50 yards because you're playing out of the slot. Whereas like Ridley could catch 4 passes for 70, 80 yards because he catches one 40, 50 yard pass or something, right? So I think Ridley will be the one. If I had to guess.
I could definitely see that. Again, my thing always is values. Where are you taking them comparable to, relative to how you think they'll finish? And so I don't know. I feel like as the season gets closer, he's just going to get a little more helium than he deserves. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see what happens. A lot of things still going to change. Like Pittman, I have no idea even how to value Pittman. I'm not ranking him anywhere in particular just because we have no idea what the Colts are going to do at quarterback.
Yeah, Pittman's tough. Pittman's tough right now for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to get because even if they made an offer to Lamar, I just don't see how the Ravens don't match it unless it's like a ridiculous offer. Like if they made him a Deshaun Watson offer, right? Where they said, here's $200 million guaranteed. then maybe the Ravens say, fine, we can't match that. He's yours.
Right. Oh, and just like that, it's up to you.
What rookie? I have a lot of receivers now.
Now you do, yeah. I feel like
Nathan, are we worried about Jefferson getting the 101 curse like JT and CMC in recent years?
Nope.
No.
Because what's the difference between those two guys?
Here's why I think that I don't think there's a 1.01 curse. I think the curse is people can't help themselves to not draft a running back with the 1.01. And running backs have a high probability of getting injured and missing significant time. Because if you look back, like look at Antonio Brown. I think he was either the wide receiver one. I think he was a wide receiver 1 4 out of 5 years, and the other year he was the wide receiver 2. Look at Devontae Adams. I think he's been top 3 years in a row. Last year I think he was. What was he last? Was he 3 last year or 5? Something like that. He's been like top 5 3 years in a row. Cooper Kupp maybe was going to be the wide receiver 1 again last year before he got hurt. I mean, well, maybe not. He probably went to Ben ahead of Jefferson, but he probably would have been the wide receiver 2 last year before he got hurt. So it's easier for wide receivers to repeat over and over and over again. And I know a lot of times people say, "Oh, the 101 never repeats." That's because the 101 is always a running back. Maybe the problem is you stop drafting running backs with the 101. Stop it. Unless you're in standard scoring, of course. Then definitely draft running backs at 101.
Right, but that's the difference between Jefferson and those guys. He's not a running back. So, by the way, I think I don't know if he just like declared victory and logged off, but the team that was killing it has now gone auto draft and taken Zeke, Lenny, and Kamara for 3 straight picks.
They just figured they're like, you know what? I got Deshaun Watson. Once they took Deshaun Watson, they're like, I'm good. I'm done. I won.
I think that's what happened.
Man, I really didn't think you'd go. I thought I could wait on tight end there. Oh well.
Well, somebody just went double tight end, got Waller and Schultz.
Yeah, I never understood that, but I mean, start getting my guys.
Very nice.
All right, so I've seen this a lot. Why is Stevenson so low in ADP? No Harris could be a top 5 running back.
Well, ADP hasn't exactly updated because a lot of people aren't drafting, unlike us. So, and there's still a lot that's going to change,
But also, he went off as the RB11. Like, this is not like I make this joke all the time. Like, only 5 guys can be top 5. Only 10 guys can be top 10. Like, not all the guys we love can be top 5. Because only 5 could be top 5, right? Like, I think sometimes we think in our head, like, oh, this guy can be top 5, this guy can be top. It's like, well, only 5 of them can actually be top 5, and you got to pick which 5 they are when you're drafting, right? You gotta plant your flag and say these are the 5 I think, or these are the 10 I think. So, I mean, he went off as the RB11. Like, I think that's more than fair, honestly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You're saying he's could be top 5. Yeah, I could make an argument for that. But again, so who's not top 5? CMC, Eckler, Jonathan Taylor. Okay, maybe if he stays hurt. Barkley, Derrick Henry, Bijan. It's like, something's got to give.
Exactly. Not everybody can be top 5. unfortunately.
Here's the rationale for the double tight end because Waller gets hurt, safety net. Well, if you're worried about Waller getting hurt, I wouldn't draft Waller, but I wouldn't draft Waller anyways.
Exactly. I don't think.
That's just me.
Yeah, that's me. That's my take too. Like, Kareem Hunt. This is another guy. We haven't even heard anything about Kareem Hunt. Nothing. Not a peep. Nothing.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would be like Denver would kind of quietly sign him, and then he'd be a great steal in drafts. Hasn't happened yet, but he's got to go somewhere.
I mean, maybe not.
You like Foreman? I do like Foreman where I got him. I mean, if he kind of takes the David Montgomery stats from last year, drafting him at what round was it? The 10th round. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I like Foreman. I like Foreman in the double-digit rounds.
I'm gonna actually go back to this because I noticed this earlier comment. So he's saying, who says, like a guy like Pacheco? We're talking about Pacheco, right? Like you don't want him as your every week RB2. Saying, who says you have to start him just because you drafted him as your RB2? No, just because he was a second running back you drafted doesn't mean you have to start him. But that means you're assuming that whoever you drafted after him is significantly better or at least more reliable. And it's like, if you don't have enough confidence in him that you would start him, why are you drafting him? That's my thing. Like that makes sense in like a handcuff situation. You know, right. We see this all the time. People that draft Alexander Madison, you know, in case Dalvin Cook breaks down. But again, if you don't feel like he has that upside, you're better off passing. Take a rookie. Like just wait and take a rookie. Take a guy you feel has that upside. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But no, you don't have to start them in order that you draft them. Half these guys you're going to cut midway through the season if you're active anyways. And we say this too, you don't win leagues on draft day. Like you don't.
No.
Unless your team is very, very, very inactive and nobody makes waiver claims or trades, in which case you need a different league.
I think I've only had there was 1 year in my home league, but it's my home league, where I drafted so well. Like I was just rolling. I think I lost like 1 game all year. I was barely making any moves. I was just rolling everybody. I had Melvin Gordon the year before. It was the year before Melvin Gordon held out when he went off. I had Andrew Luck, who was just going nuts. I just had all these like incredible. Adam Thielen scored like 15 touchdowns that year. I had Adam Thielen. I had this insane team, winning and just smashing everybody every single week. And in the first, it was a 10-team. My home league's a 10-team league, so we do playoffs. Back then, it was week 15 and 16 because there was no week 17 back then. No, don't show rookies. Somebody took Njoku. Week 15, Andrew Luck only scored like 4 points. Melvin Gordon got hurt like the first quarter or something, and I ended up losing in the first round. That was the closest I ever came to like winning the championship, doing nothing all year. Just sitting there watching my team steamroll everybody. This week after week, just steamrolling people, like crushing them. And then week 15, Andrew Luck had a horrible game. Melvin Gordon got hurt like in the first quarter. Adam Thielen didn't score any touchdowns, and I lost.
That's fantasy football. That's what I say. Fantasy football is pain sometimes.
Yes. And then I had a team 1 year, and I'll always remember this because it was at our gym league. We had a $100 buy-in league, 12-team, and I had a team where I won the championship, and I didn't have a single player on my team that I drafted. I either got him off the waiver wire or through trades. Not a single player I drafted was on my team when I won the championship that year. And I remember one of the other trainers was like, that's not fair. That shouldn't even be allowed. You shouldn't even be allowed. You should have to have somebody you drafted on your team.
Yeah, that's the rules. That's how it is. It's not a best ball league, you know. So I know there's multiple times I've had a championship team where half my starting lineup was guys I picked up or maybe traded for, but that's how you win. By the way, shout out right now to, is it S03? What it is? The Frank Gore
S903.
pick.
You picked Frank Gore and Antonio Brown.
Frank Gore. I'll just ignore the Antonio Brown pick, but the Frank Gore pick, instant dub.
I can't. How does Sleeper still have Frank Gore in the rank, even in the rankings?
You never know. He could come out. That guy could come out of retirement right now and be better than half the running backs in the league, guaranteed.
I don't know if I'm with you on that one. Taysom Hill. That's what happens when you wait all the way till the end on tight end. I did actually kind of like Taysom Hill until they signed him all. Now I'm like,
Yeah, actually, I like with Derek Carr there now, Juwan Johnson, they re-signed him. He got paid. I mean, he actually came on. He wasn't just a red zone threat last year. He came on. I think he could be an interesting late round tight end this year. And then good question here, because I was just looking at that. I noticed Nate took Jeff Wilson, and then Mostert was taken the round before. They signed them both back again. They're not going running back in the draft. I mean, what are we going to get? The same as last year? Pick them each and every week, flip a coin.
Yeah. He'll have that random week where he scores 4 touchdowns, on the waiver wire, on everybody's waiver wire. Then they'll run out, they'll add him, and he'll do nothing. All right, let's take a look at these teams. Well, we know all about Valaxkin. He was awesome until he started timing out. He got picks 1 through 8 are like a 10, and then picks 9 through 13 are like a 1. Although he did get Hodgins to the end. So,
well, it looks like he's back on now, though, which is weird.
Yeah, he's back on now, but
so does that just completely devastate his draft?
I don't know if it devastates it. I mean, he still has a great starting lineup, but obviously he's gonna be in trouble if he has an injury or two.
I mean, look, Kamara is your third running back. Having one of Zeke or Lenny as backup, it's not the worst thing. So great start though. Great team. Yeah. All right, Nate. Let's see. Jamar, Debo, Josh Jacobs, Najee. I like the faith in Najee. Terry McLaurin, Dallas Goedert, Swift, Cooks, Tua. Extra points there. We didn't talk about Rashad Penny. I mean, I think the Eagles draft a running back. I think you also think they draft a running back, maybe not the same one I do. Do you think he's just whatever, or is there something there?
There's something there if he can stay. Well, yeah, if they don't draft a running back and he can stay healthy, that's the big thing. Can he stay healthy? Because, again, we're talking about a guy who's only played barely over 40 games in 5 years. So that's a big thing. But and I did see that Bijan visited the Eagles today, whatever that's worth. So if they draft Bijan, that's it for Penny. Sorry, Penny.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so then Nico Collins, I like the upside here. You're solid at quarterback and tight end without having to go too early there. I think Cooks is fine as a flex for where you took him. Didn't reach for him. McLaurin as a wide receiver 3 is good. I think pretty solid. I like that it's the starters are solid and the backups have upside. I think it's a pretty good balanced team.
Agree.
And then SS903 went Chiefs stack early and then a bunch of rookies in the middle. And I don't know what you want to call those last 2 picks. Veteran? Beyond veteran?
He went Kelsey Mahomes, then he went Brees, JSN, Gibbs, Johnston, Charbonnet, Jameson. So all first year, second year players. Then he went Shepard, MT, old guys. But he went back to a rookie with Boutte, and then he did those throw-in picks. Yeah, this is I don't even know how to grade this team. This team is a complete wild card. Complete wild card.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Definitely interesting.
All right, so the winner of the most interesting draft of the night.
Definitely the winner of the most interesting draft, yes.
All right. And then team 4, that would be Mr. Woods. All right. So CMC, Josh Allen, second, DK Metcalf, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Gabe Davis, Javante Williams, Juju, Waller. Okay. It started strong. I'm not loving the middle. I got to be honest. Not
Yeah.
loving the middle portion of that draft.
Yeah, not loving the middle. Evans with Baker or Trask, not loving that. Gabe, I mean, what I feel like I have to talk about it every draft. Like, what are we expecting from Gabe this year? Like, what's going to be different this year? Probably nothing. Javante coming off the J.K. Dobbins ACL, no thank you. Juju in New England, Waller, Thielen, Schultz, Boyd, yeah, yeah. Definitely don't like the second half of that draft, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really not even the build itself. It's more just the individual players. I think Evans would have been fine a round later. And even then, it would be kind of iffy for me. Gabe Davis, like you said, like he shouldn't be probably your wide receiver 3. So, yeah, don't love the middle of the pick. Start out like it was solid, and then my team was a mix of I don't even know. I don't know what my team has an identity. I got best available the first 3 rounds, and then I just started loading up at receiver. It's like I have potential, but I don't even know if it's enough.
It's got potential. That's the thing. It's like I like the first 5 picks, and then it's a lot of wild cards after that. Like with potential, I like the Ingram pick a lot. I'll say that. Yeah.
I feel somehow like I wound up more solid at running back than receiver, even though I went more receiver heavy early because my receivers are just all young. So after Cheetah, of course. And then you started out pretty old. Actually, you stayed pretty old till the end too, kind of. It's a veteran squad.
Yeah, definitely a veteran squad. I think it's okay considering I went 2 running backs in the first 3. I mean, like I said, I would have liked to go on wide receiver over Henry if I knew I was going to get Pollard, and then that would have allowed me to get a guy like Fields and an early quarterback, and I think I would like this team a lot more. But that Henry Pollard pick kind of set me back in this format where you're starting 3 wide receivers and a flex. So I think it's an okay team, but it's probably a team I'd have to work on throughout the season. Like I don't think this is a team ready to win right out the gate.
I think that's fair. You do have some upside there, like Tony and Downs in those later picks. So pretty good, though. You have a pretty high floor. All right, and then we have NM845, I think. AJ Brown at the 7. I think that might be the earliest we've seen him go. But you got Barkley, second round is good. Ramondre in the 3rd round, very solid. Keenan, Fields, Pickens, Addison, Flowers. So interesting. Started out veteran at receiver and then went young. I mean, obviously it's some risk here, but I think that works.
Yeah, I think it works. I mean, if AJ Brown's your guy, AJ Brown's your guy. I wouldn't take him that high, but if he's your guy, he's your guy. I like the Barkley Ramondre picks. I think Keenan, Pickens, Addison, Flowers, Osborne, you have enough shots, to have for wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Then you got some shots late. I probably would have preferred almost any tight end over Taysom Hill, but hey, to each their own.
You can always just stream. Yeah, I like that you have that core, those 2 running backs that you should hopefully be able to set and forget. And then it's okay if your wide receiver 3 and flex, are kind of volatile. That's how they're going to wind up being anyways, for the most part, no matter who you drafted that position. So I like that you got some upside there. Raw, not cooked, but raw broccoli, the best kind. Austin Eckler, Jalen Waddle, Mike Williams, Mike Pittman, Dalvin Cook, Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, Brian Robinson, Elijah Moore, Kendry Miller, Mike Gallup, and Njoku. I feel this is like the all redemption team. Like all the guys who are falling, right? Like Pittman and Cook, the guys who were drafted much higher last year, like Bateman, Elijah Moore. Looking for a lot of bounce back seasons here.
Looking for a lot of bounce back. Certainly, a lot of risk reward in this team. A lot of risk reward for sure. Like, I like the first 4 picks. I mean, I don't mind Michael Pittman in the 4th round as your wide receiver 3. It's fine, and I don't even mind Dalvin. Honestly, I like the first 6 picks. I don't even mind Dalvin Cook as your RB2 in the 5th, because whether it's the Vikings or some other team, he'll be fine. Like, I don't think he's going to be elite anymore. Like, the days of Dalvin Cook being a top 5, top 10 fantasy running back are probably over, but he'll be solid. Lamar's going to play somewhere next year, almost certainly. And then just taking shots down the stretch for the guys that maybe will do something, but maybe won't do anything. So I like it. I like it.
Looking at it, I feel like this is almost like a team of half of it is like my guys. Like, Waddle is my guy. Dalvin Cook, since he got drafted, is one guy I always liked. Bateman, I'm still on. Elijah Moore, I'm still on. I've been drafting a lot of Brian Robinson, and then Njoku, of course, also. So I like this team personally. I mean, look, you got to take some chances. And then Ale crush it as usual. Went 4 receivers. He actually did. I think he might be the only one who did like a true 0 RB build.
Yeah, this is true 0 RB. I mean, I like it. I like those 4 wide receivers a lot. Got Herbert, got Hawkinson, Algier, Herbert, Cook. I mean, Mitchell. I mean, this is the thing. When you go 0 RB like this, your running backs are going to look really bad. It's just the way it is. Your running backs are going to look really bad. I probably would have even preferred, I don't know. I guess Zayo is okay there. I might have even preferred one more running back and then Chark at the end. But, I mean, it's always hard. Like I always say this, it's always hard to grade a 0 running back team right out of the draft, because you're going to be like, well, your wide receivers look great, but your running backs look terrible. Like it's just always going to be that way. So, yeah. But I like it. For a 0 running back team, I like it because his wide receivers are stacked. He's got an elite quarterback, got an elite tight end. So it's a good 0 running back team.
It's a good 0 running back draft. I probably would have taken Brian Robinson instead of Herbert. But again, it's not a huge difference there. Solid as always. And then I believe this is Sam, right? S-Dubs. So went Bijan, Gary Wilson, Christian Watson. The Jag stack got Ridley and Lawrence. Montgomery, Dotson, Pacheco, who was not his RB2. DPJ, Damian Harris, Mechie. All right. I think there's a lot of upside on this team.
I agree. I like this team a lot. I think there's a lot of upside here. Those wide receivers, those guys all have tremendous upside. You got the T-Law, Ridley stack. I like Montgomery as an RB2. Dotson, Peoples-Jones, Mechie all have breakout potential. Muth, that late, is a great tight end. Damian Harris on the Bills now. I like this team.
I like this team a lot. Like looking at more Dotson, I think is a great pick there. Yeah, very good. Well done. This is probably one of my favorites so far. Rise always somehow manages to get in. Got the quick mouse finger or something.
Fingers, man.
I don't know. All right, CeeDee Lamb, JT in round 2, Nick Chubb in round 3, DeAndre Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, Cam, Pitts, Dak, Jacoby Myers, Madison Hunt, and then Rice and Dobbs. I think it's solid. This feels like a pretty safe team.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, like, it feels like a solid team, a playoff team. May just be lacking the upside like that you want for a take home the full prize team. But hey, it's only the draft. That's what waiver wires and trades are for. So it's a solid team. This is a team that probably is doing pretty well early in the season. And then it's going to come down to, do you put in the work to make it a championship team or do you not? And then it ends up fizzling out and, losing in the first round of the playoffs or something.
Right. And I'm not holding out a lot of hope. I don't know how many people start for Pitts breaking out, having this monster season, but you could argue there's an upside there. But this is definitely a solid squad. Like there's no holes here. And then finally in team 12 here, you got Devontae Adams, the Sun God, at the 2.1. That's pretty early for him. Burrow, Etienne, Andrews, Godwin, Connor, White, Mooney, Gibson, Pierce. This isn't a team I would draft. It's mainly for me, it's the running backs. It's the running backs that do it. Like, I'm not all against Etienne or anything. Like, I would never ever draft him. I probably won't. But and then Connor's like just okay. And then White this year, his upside is like, I don't know. I feel like you're going to be working the waiver wire a lot of running back.
Yeah, I agree. This is another team that feels like it's a playoff potential team, but it needs work if it's going to, for the up, because you're trying to win it all. You need upside, right? You can't bank on like your opponents always putting up terrible scores. You're going to need, when you get to the playoffs and you're playing those loaded teams, you're going to need the upside. Which, look, you can do that, but I don't feel like this team coming out of the draft quite has that yet. But certainly, with Adams, St. Brown, Burrow, and Etienne and Andrews, if he bounces back, you at least have like a decent core. So yeah, if you can get some upside guys around him, that this team can turn around. But I think coming out of the gate, it'll probably be like one of those solid, but not elite teams.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, reading the comments here. A lot of y'all are fiends. You want to draft again right now? Well, we will draft again tomorrow.
Yes.
Superflex Dynasty. We have some people ready for Dynasty already. Are we ready for that?
I mean, I'm ready for it, but not right now. Like, I don't feel like doing a Superflex Dynasty mock draft. Like, I don't feel like mock drafting for another 2 hours.
No, not tonight.
Superflex
not tonight.
Like, again, if this was all I did all day, sure, let's do it. But yeah, a Dynasty Superflex mock right now. Oh man, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for that right now.
I don't know how much longer we can hold out. We have to do at least one before the NFL draft, and then we'll do them a lot more Dynasty afterwards. All right, the final word here should come from Frank Gore.
In boxing, maybe. Isn't he a boxer now? Is that what he does? He boxes now?
He is a boxer. I think he won his first match, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
All right, guys. One more time, I'm going to mention what you've seen scrolling down below here. flockfantasy.com/endgame. Join us there. Get into the Discord and also get all that content, already stuff up there. Articles, rankings, constantly being updated and improved throughout the offseason. So check it out right now. 30% off any subscription. If you use code endgame, just click on that link and that takes you there. All right, we'll be back here, same bat time, same bat channel, but tomorrow.